So with less than 20 minutes to go, I've decided to go fishing. So the challenge is to see how many fish I can catch with a fly rod and just what's in my fly vest, nothing else. 20 minutes. See how we do. All right. 20 minutes. Set timer 20 minutes. All right.
20 minutes, starting now.
Indeed. All right, we are suited up, good to go like a parade rock. What I'm going to start with, well, I am going to keep, just to make it more fair, is a little bobber that's on the end of this. It will impede my ability to catch a lot of fish, I think. But at the same time, it should enable me to get a few. So I'm going to start at the dock and work my way around. Strip some line off here. Basically, that bobber essentially works as a, let me see if I can lock the focus on this. Yeah, there we go. Have to quickly figure out what they want. Normally I take this little bobber off, but it does come in handy if I decide to switch and go subsurface down to the bottom with like a nymph or something like that. It also helps with bats, and there's quite a few bats. Oh, there we go. Easy peasy. Ah, catch and release. Get the green gook off of it. And just my scorecard here. That's one. So if you've ever been in the military, you're going to recognize this as a pace counter, but I use it in this application as a scorekeeper. So that's one. Yes, I'm counting it. Catch and release, why not? Let's see what else we can find right there. That was a nice hit. He really attacked it. Oh, there we go. Wow, out of the water he jumped. Man, if I was keeping them today, that's a nice one. It's not as big, but it's nice. Come on, let it go. All right. That's two. Let me adjust the scorecard here. There's two. All right. Nice cast. Let's see what we get. If I didn't have that on there, I could really mess them up. Boy, I could tear them up. But, you know, it's all right. We'll just work it back over here. Now, if you don't have a fly rod, you can use a similar technique to deploy a fly, FYI. Oh, someone's looking, come on. Will they take it? It's right there at the end where I want it. I know where you are now. Just got to bring it over to them. Silver platter stuff. Come on. So I'm just slowly drawing it back. So what I'm referring to there is I have the line in my hand. You definitely don't want to let it get too far out of hand. You definitely want to keep your rod tip pointing generally toward where you are. See if I can work that guy into biting. Man, if I could just, I would take the float off, but like I said, I'm wanting to challenge myself to that extent. It definitely impedes the process, in my opinion. I'm just gonna fan cast. Running out of time here messing with that one guy. You don't want to get target fixation on a particular spot either. Again, we're not going for big cast. We're simply finding who's available and reeling them in. Seriously thinking about taking that bobber off. I mean, it's nice. It's really nice to be able to see what is going on, especially subsurface. There we go. We're getting a bite. See the little ripples? Those are not generated by me when they go backwards. The ones that I generate will go forward in motion, not backwards in motion. Away from the dock. Again, time is not a courtesy that I have. I set this challenge, so just to make it difficult. It's a little too shallow. This is not a bad lake, by the way. It's really pretty. It's really nice. I've been fishing here for years. Keep coming back to it. It's a nice place. So I think what I am going to do is advance a little bit further than I would normally. It's just a press for time, so I'm going to move up some and work this bank. There's a waterfall up ahead, and we're getting a bite. It's not me, that's the fish. So that's me. See the difference? So what they're doing, they'll come up and they'll tip at it, and those are generally probably like not quite necessarily active feeding brim. They're just kind of bumping it off where it is. They don't want it where it is. That, on the other hand, is a strike. He's got it in his mouth, he just hasn't committed to it. So I'm just gonna slowly bring it toward me. There it is. Number 3. See? There he is. Move one ball down. There we go. We're up to 3. All right. Get myself untangled here. All right, moving on down. Let's see, that was about right in there, I believe. So I'm trying not to fall in here. I'm gonna actually step forward. This area is slightly dodgy. Just gonna work it. Oh, there we go. Someone's looking at it. I know I'm watching the strike indicator, that little small yellow dot out there. Just gonna bump it along. We're getting into the time of evening where the bats are going to start coming out. We've got a lot of bird activity, but I especially don't want to be out here during the time where the bats are actively feeding. I'm obviously fishing with a fly. That is exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for something in the air that's that small, and I don't want to damage a bat inadvertently. These birds are smart enough to know better, but bats, not so smart. Well, I mean, they're smart, but they're not. All right, we're going to advance up a little bit. One thing to be very mindful of when bank fishing, as you walk, you send out a concussive wave, and fish can detect that. So don't just go charging up on the bank. You'll scare the fish that are near the bank away. And if your fish that you're targeting are on the bank, logically you're going to miss some fish by spooking them. Some get 2 geese, they're flying in between the trees. All right, moving on down. We're going to go the other side of the rock here, but I'm going to stop short of the rock right here and cast. If it was dry, I would actually go out on the rock. Oh, there we go. Ah, I pulled too soon. Let's try this again. I know somebody's interested. There it is. Nice jump. Ah, there we go. What do we have here? Come over here. Number 4. Yeah. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Give me 1 second. I'll set you free, buddy. Thank you very much. Adjust my scorecard. There we go. All right. Let's try that again. Not the best fly caster in the world, but again, I'm fishing for fish that don't care how you present it. They just want it presented to them. Just gonna bob this along, just get it back over where it was. Let it sit there for a second. Oh, there we go. We're gonna take off again, see if you'll entice them to bite. And again, we don't want to get target fixation. We want to keep moving. So we're gonna move down a little bit. Again, we're looking for those active feeding fish. I am surprised that I am the only person out here today fishing. This is a bar none killer day to be out fishing. Crappie, catfish, bass. This is the definite day to do it. But you know, it's 4:20, so I guess everybody's not. Oh, hello, big hit. Oh, jump out of the water for me. There you go. Well, just keep jumping. All right, number 5. Nice. Number 5. All right. Get that freed up. We're going to go down a little ways. May not trip over my line. That's the one downside to fly fishing. The other reason why I'm going in an index down, so I don't get the trees on the opposite side of the road here. Fly fishing is every bit you go forward, you got to go backwards. So trees behind you are not really your best friend. But like I said, there are ways to fish flies without having to use, per se, a fly rod. I can demonstrate that. Additional later video. That was a sloppy cast. Hopefully this car coming in, yeah, they're going to want to try to go on around. Hopefully they will not impede my fishing. Let's move down a little bit. Caught 5 so far. Uh-huh. No, brim. Yeah. No, on a fly. Uh-huh. Several what they eat on a regular basis.
Oh yeah? You fish out here a lot?
I would say
Caught any bass out here?
there are bass in here, but I mean, I don't believe you're allowed to keep them.
Yeah, catch and release.
I believe so.
Yeah.
The city has its independent regulations from the Game and Fish. You can look it up in the book. I believe it's catch and release. But there are bass out here.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, they're catch and release. I've accidentally, caught a few, before with fly rod. I've also caught a duck, but I mean, that's...
They're a lot of fun to catch. Anything's a lot of fun to catch with a fly rod.
Oh yeah, this is true. Or ultralight. Anything ultralight.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fun. All right, enjoy, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Friendly encounter. Let's move on down. Just gonna hop this sucker on down here. Speaking of hop, I have ordered some flies that look like grasshoppers. They are deadly effective. And that's 20 minutes. So we caught 5 fish in 20 minutes, but I'm going to keep going. But just to let you know, it can be done. Yes, it is not exactly ideal conditions, but yes, it can be definitely done. So just to close the video that I started, I was able to get fish in the allotted amount of time. After that, I did catch some fish. Basically, I just stayed in the area, put out some more casts. Same lure, didn't change anything. Same presentation method, and caught a massive brim. And it's not going to be in the same video, but it'll be in another video that I guess I'll put up behind this video. But anyway, sometimes you just got to try, and if you don't, you'll never know. But anyway, I guess the moral that I wanted to close on was try. It's always better to try. So anyway, I'm going to start the truck and get out of here. Time to go eat.